In Red Dead Redemption 2, we encounter many gangs. Many of them are quite prominent. However, none are as prominent as this particular irritation. For the gang in today's video functions as something of a rival to the Van der Linde gang, present from the beginning of the story right up to almost the very end. This video is going to function as a bit of an analysis into this particular gang and an exploration of their story as it's told in Red Dead Redemption 2. I am, of course, talking about the O'Driscolls. We first encounter the O'Driscolls at the very beginning of the game when the Van der Linde gang are on the run after the Blackwater incident. They are up in the Grizzlies in harsh, snowy conditions, almost blizzard-like, and need to find shelter quickly. Fortunately, they happen upon shelter, but Dutch and Arthur need to ride out to find some supplies, as the gang has taken refuge in an abandoned mining town. On the frozen trail, they come across Micah, another member of the gang, who is already out searching.
Micah.
Gentlemen,
Found anything?
I think so. Found a little homestead down that way.
Okay. Anyone home?
Sure. Place is blazing with light and noise. Sounded like a party.
Let's go see.
Follow me.
Micah leads us through the snow to a homestead up on the mountain. Here it's clear there's some activity within the house, however at this point it's unclear whether or not it's friendly or hostile, so Dutch approaches with caution. Meanwhile, Arthur and Micah hide out of sight.
Hello?
Shut up, Billy.
Excuse me? Hello? Oh, well, hello, friend.
What you want?
I am very sorry to disturb you. My friends and I, well, we got into some trouble up the way, lost in the storm.
While Dutch speaks to the occupants, Micah makes a gruesome discovery in the cart he's hiding behind.
I got folks
Arthur,
dying on the
Arthur,
trail.
we got a problem. Folks, there's a corpse right here.
Now, I just
Arthur,
need some
there's a body
cans of food
in the
or
wagon.
something.
I hear you. Just
Gentlemen,
keep your eyes on Dutch.
please.
I think you should go now, buddy.
Now, friend, I ain't asking for much. Please, I am kind of desperate.
Hey, I don't believe it. Come here, partner. Come here. It's goddamn Dutch Van der Linde.
After the occupants of the house recognise Dutch, it's clear they are members of a rival gang, and thus a shootout ensues. One that, of course, the Van der Linde gang emerges from victorious. Otherwise, it would have been a very short game.
Goddamn O'Driscoll boys here! Why?
I don't know. Maybe same reason as us.
Dutch identifies the gang members as the O'Driscolls, and questions why they're here. Micah suggests they're up here for the same reason as the Van der Linde gang, hiding from the law. A quick search of the house reveals that it was not owned by the O'Driscolls and in fact belonged to a married couple named Jake and Sadie, meaning the body outside must have been Jake, and he was murdered so the O'Driscolls could occupy his shelter. But where's his wife?
O'Driscoll's? I don't believe it.
It's a strange one, all right. Maybe they're hiding up here, too. There's a big price on Colm O'Driscoll's head. Nearly as big as the one on yours.
Wanting Colm dead is about the only thing me and Uncle Sam agreed on.
This dialogue tells us there is a strong rivalry between Dutch Van der Linde and the leader of the O'Driscolls, Colm O'Driscoll. Arthur mentions that the price on Colm's head is almost as big as the one on Dutch's. Almost like who can be the most wanted outlaw is a bit of a competition. The only thing this actually tells us is the rivalry between Dutch and Colm is long standing, and members of both gangs are very aware of it. Anyway, after searching the house, Arthur is sent to check the barn outside, to see if there's anything of value in there. Once inside the barn, Arthur is surprised when ambushed by another O'Driscoll.
Bastards!
shot my cousin.
Well, he started it.
I'm gonna break your neck.
Oh shit, that's the wrong recording where I forgot I had a mod installed that super punched people, so I had to uninstall that and restart the entire game.
What's going on?
This guy just jumped me.
Oh, did he now?
Sneaky little bastard. Should I kill him?
No. Not yet. Find out what they're doing here and where Colm is.
Oh, this son of a bitch will talk. Where's Colm O'Driscoll?
With the others. At an old mining camp southwest of here. Near the lake.
What are you bastards doing? Why are you up here?
We're fixing to rob some train. Gonna blow the tracks. I don't know more than that, I swear.
Well, I would say it looks like you have this, Arthur. Do what you want with him. I don't care. But bring that horse when you're done. Oh.
At this point we can choose to kill or spare the O'Driscoll, but we've discovered that the O'Driscolls plan to rob a train by blowing up the tracks, hence why they are up in the mountains in these harsh conditions. Upon returning to the house, Dutch, Arthur and Micah make another discovery.
Micah, what the hell do you think you're doing?
Ooh, look, I found in the cellar. Wild thing, ain't ya?
Leave her alone!
I wasn't doing nothing. She's one of them O'Driscolls.
No, she ain't, Micah. Look at her. Miss. Are you...
Oh, you fool! Micah!
Miss. Now, it is gonna be okay. We mean you no harm. Miss. Come on. It'll be okay. We need to get out of here, and quick. Come on now. Oh. You okay, miss?
They came 3 days ago. And my husband, they...
Miss, you are safe now. And you can't stay here. You come with us. Arthur.
Miss, it's okay. We're bad men. We ain't them. It's okay. Get on. We'll keep you safe until you figure out what you want to do.
What's your name, miss? Miss.
Adler.
Adler.
Sadie Adler. Mrs. He was my husband.
So what we learn is the O'Driscolls came to this homestead 3 days ago and killed Jake Adler, making his wife a widow. Sadie was either imprisoned or hidden in the cellar for the duration of this ordeal, and not killing her is perhaps the biggest mistake the O'Driscolls ever made.
How'd you get on?
Micah found a homestead, but he weren't the first. Colm O'Driscoll and his scum, they beat us to it. We found some of them there, but there is more about, apparently. Scouting the train. Thank you.
That's the last thing we need right now, Dutch.
Well, it is what it is. But we found some supplies, some blankets, a little bit of food, and this poor soul, Mrs. Adler, Miss Tilly, Miss Kieran, would you warm her up? Give her a drink or something? And Mrs. Adler, it's gonna be okay. You're safe now. They turned her into a widow. Animals.
So while the gang may be safe from the law, they are not safe from the presence of O'Driscolls in the region. It's also interesting in the last cutscene I showed that Dutch believes himself to be different from the O'Driscolls. He believes his gang is more, referring to the O'Driscolls as animals. It's an interesting point, and I'll bring up why it's interesting later. The next time we encounter the O'Driscolls is still in Chapter 1 in the mission Old Friends. However, before this, during the hunting mission known as the Aftermath of Genesis, Arthur and Charles have this conversation.
What is it with the O'Driscolls?
You ain't dealt with them? I suppose. Hell, we ain't run into them much the last 6 months. I guess because they've been over this way.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of talk about them.
Well, we've been scrapping over scores with them for years. Big gang. Nasty sons of bitches. Their leader, Colm, and Dutch go way back. And not in a good way. A proper blood feud.
So I heard.
What we learn here is Dutch and Colm O'Driscoll have history, and not positive history at that. Therefore, they have a proper blood feud going on that's lasted years. Which means the discovery that they're set up on an old mine on the mountain, and that they fixed to rob a train, is a bit of an opportunity for Dutch to give Colm O'Driscoll a tweak on the nose, and perhaps get something out of it for his gang.
You fools punching each other when Colm O'Driscoll's needing punching hard. You want to sit around waiting for him to come find us? All of you, we got work to do. Come on.
Are you sure about this, Dutch?
Yes.
Folks been through a lot recently. We hardly back on our feet yet.
And the last thing we need is to get bushwhacked by Colm O'Driscoll. Let's go.
I know you hate him, Dutch.
He's here for us.
I doubt that.
No, you're just doubting me.
I would never doubt you, Dutch. You always said revenge is a luxury we can't afford.
This is the right call, Arthur. Take this. And this is about more than revenge for business long ago. They were talking about trains and detonators here. Colm always had good information. Come on.
And you think now is the right time to hit a train?
Now you might fancy living on deer piss and rabbit shit. I'm getting too old for that life. Mr. Matthews, Mr. Smith, Mr. Pearson, would you please look after the place? There are O'Driscolls about. Yeah!
Dutch seems somewhat paranoid about the presence of O'Driscolls on the mountain, saying that he's here for Dutch, when in reality he probably is not, as we know he's planning to rob a train. Dutch does eventually bring it back round to that point, however it's quite clear that he almost let his rivalry get the better of him. Arthur mentions that revenge is a luxury that they can't afford, meaning that there's definitely a backbone to this blood feud, and it doesn't take us long to discover what that backbone is.
I learned a long time ago that you hit Colm O'Driscoll. Wait for him, and people you love will die.
This feud between you and him needs to be put to rest, one way or another.
It will be. Some things I can forgive, others I can't forget. What he did to Annabelle, I can't do neither.
You killed his brother, Dutch.
Yes, I did. And I hope the bastards will be reunited soon enough. That's how this'll end.
The feud started when Dutch killed Colm's brother, and Colm killed his lover, leaving them with a bitter hatred for one another, and all of that rhymed and it shouldn't have. Arriving at the mining camp, Dutch decides to scout the gang from a distance.
There they are. That's definitely them.
Home?
I think so.
Yeah, that's him.
Who's he talking to? He don't seem very happy.
No.
They leaving?
Seem to be. Should we go get him?
No. Colm can wait. Best to get some of them out of there. And much less fun to rob him and his score if he never finds out about it. All right, let's go pay our old friends a visit.
As much as this could be a sarcastic comment, it's also heavily implied that the Van der Linde gang and the O'Driscolls were once allies to a point, or at the very least at some point Colm and Dutch weren't enemies. Anyway, for now, despite Colm leaving, Dutch says he can wait. Reducing the threat and stealing the O'Driscoll's score is more important to the gang right now, and thus the Van der Linde gang approach the camp.
Circle around the far side and go down that way, same as Micah and Bill. Like you said, revenge is a luxury we can't afford.
Yeah, just wasn't sure you agreed with me.
Arthur, Arthur, have you completely lost faith in me? Our needs right now are supplies, equipment, and a way out of here. Everything else, including Colm, can wait.
Okay.
I think this suggests to Dutch Colm O'Driscoll is his worst enemy, and yet despite that he's saying Colm can wait. I think on some level Dutch likes having a nemesis, as he said himself he wants to rub robbing the train in Colm's face effectively anyhow, but of course he makes the point that the gang's own needs need to come first, which is the more noble of the 2 points. But we already have a rather solid idea of just how intense this resentment is between these two characters. Anyway, as planned, Dutch van der Linde and his boys kill every O'Driscoll left in the camp.
O'Driscolls! You're dead, you sons of bitches! Pushing forward! Cover me! That ain't nothing. Stay with Arthur! Look out! We got more of those cabins to the right! Take out those bastards in the cabin! You'll have your reward. Push up on! You hear me? Still got from those cabins. I think that's all of them. Search the bodies. Strip everything we can from them.
It didn't take long for that shootout to draw the attention of more nearby O'Driscolls. I think if anything this just goes to show just how big Colm O'Driscoll's gang actually is. However, quality trumps quantity and the van der Linde gang emerges victorious.
The cowards are running away. Good work, boys.
The discovery we've made so far is that Colm O'Driscoll's gang has numbers. However, whilst searching the bodies before the second wave of O'Driscolls rocked up, he had this to say about that.
You recognize any of them, Dutch?
Of course not. Cole doesn't give a damn about his men. All he cares about is numbers. If you can shoot a gun and ride a horse and kill without thought, you're in. Think how long some of you have been with me. I imagine Cole doesn't even know half the names of these fools.
Dutch speaks about this because Bill asked him if he recognised any of the O'Driscoll boys, indicating that Dutch would have first-hand experience dealing with many of the O'Driscolls, which implies that once upon a time they weren't bitter enemies, but rather allies. Anyway, in the O'Driscolls camp, the gang finds plenty of dynamite, which was no doubt intended to be used to rob a train. The gang also finds plans that suggests the O'Driscolls were planning to rob Leviticus Cornwall, most specifically. On the way back, the gang identifies one of the O'Driscolls who escaped the shootout, and so Arthur chases and catches him.
You're coming with me. Shit! What's your name, boy?
I don't know.
You don't know your name?
It's Kieran.
Kieran what?
Duffy. Kieran Duffy.
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. This is a real bad day for you, Kieran Duffy.
Where are you taking me?
Somewhere you ain't gonna like.
Why? What are you gonna do to me?
Something you ain't gonna like. So I'd advise you to save your breath for screaming.
No, please.
Here we are, you sack of shit. Let's introduce you to the boys.
Don't hurt me, please.
Oh, don't worry. They're real nice.
Huh. You found a little shit, did you?
Yep. I got him.
Very good. Welcome to your new home. Hope you're real happy here.
You want me to make him talk?
Oh no, now all we'll get is lies. Uncle, Mr. Williamson, tie this maggot up someplace safe. We get him hungry first. I got a saying, my friend. You shoot fellas as need shooting, save fellas as need saving, and feed them as need feeding. We are gonna find out what you need. I can't believe it! an O'Driscoll in my camp.
I ain't an O'Driscoll, mister. I hate that fella.
Oh, whatever you say, son. Well done, Arthur.
I'm just sorry we missed out on Colm.
Oh, there's time enough for that. Now, I gotta figure out if we can hit that train.
Now, either Kieran Duffy is legitimately not Colm O'Driscoll's biggest fan, or he's just saying whatever he can to get out of the situation he's in. Going forward, Kieran Duffy is interesting and insightful with regards to the O'Driscoll side of the plot, so we will be addressing him and what he has to say again at length later on. Anyway, for now, the Van der Linde gang robbed the train, initially planned to be robbed by the O'Driscolls, and then moved down the mountain and set up camp at Horseshoe Overlook near Valentine in New Hanover. This area in Chapter 2 is absolutely brimming with O'Driscoll activity. In the town of Valentine itself, many O'Driscolls can be found lurking, easily identified by their long grey coats. They can often be found antagonising people and causing issues, however they aren't too difficult to deal with here, nor are they immediately hostile a lot of the time. Whilst exploring the Heartlands, they can be encountered partaking in various nefarious deeds in many places.
Stop there! Keep your gun on him.
Ooh, gotcha. Now, if you want to keep your head, you'll get down from that.
Colm taught you something?
There are several encounters in which the O'Driscolls will attempt to rob you, and they appear to have a preference for establishing their traps on or near bridges. This tells us two things: they do have some form of tactical awareness, but also it doesn't matter how many of them we kill, we will always find more. After all, Colm O'Driscoll only cares about numbers. That doesn't mean they're smart. A lot of the time you'll find the O'Driscolls are ruffians that are looking for trouble.
You got a problem, pal?
Watch that I don't shut that flapping mouth for you.
What, you want to start something?
You want me to set you straight, huh? Should have stayed home, eh, boy?
I can have the law here in a trice. Understood?
Wasting my time.
Another interesting detail is that a lot of the O'Driscolls sport Irish accents, which is interesting as Colm O'Driscoll himself is an American, though it's quite clear he has Irish heritage. So it seems the O'Driscolls, for the most part, have been brought together under some illusion of camaraderie, which, as we know, is complete and utter horse shit. However, it's a nice parallel to the Van der Linde gang, who are also together under that very same illusion, albeit far less exaggerated. Sometimes whilst riding around the Heartlands, you can be randomly ambushed by the O'Driscolls, who appear to know who you are and whose gang you belong to, which implies that they have a strong hatred for the Van der Linde gang, likely embedded by their leader Colm. Several of their camps can also be found whilst out exploring in this region.
Awful glad to see your ugly mug again. There'll be nothing left of you when we're through.
All right, O'Driscolls, kill these bastards!
O'Driscolls will see you under.
Try to make it a good fight before...
Another fascinating detail about encounters with the O'Driscolls is often you'll hear them mention that they are in fact O'Driscolls. It's almost like mentioning that changes things somehow, like it's meant to inspire fear. Or maybe like they feel untouchable because they're a part of this massive gang, which I suppose would explain why they all wear the same uniform. Long grey black trench coat with a touch of green. After all, why would a criminal want a recognisable uniform if they were worried about being arrested? With the Lemoyne Raiders it made sense, as they saw themselves as a militia, not a criminal organisation, but with the O'Driscolls they don't have the luxury of that illusion, so the answer is they simply don't care because they believe they're untouchable, because they're massive. Back to the main story, Arthur decides to threaten Kieran Duffy, who's presently tied to a tree, in order to find out more information about Colm O'Driscoll and his present whereabouts.
Speak! Don't cry, boy. Speak about your gang.
I can't.
Boy.
Whoa! Hold your horses there. It seems the cat has got our friend here's tongue. I was thinking Mr. Williamson could have a word.
Ready to talk, boy?
I told you, mister. I told all of you. I don't know nothing, okay? They ain't no friends of mine. I just been riding with them for a while.
Horseshit. You see, we heard that part, so how about you tell the truth? That's what you want me to do.
Hurt him, so the next time he opens his mouth, it is to tell us what is going on. Ah, who am I kidding? One O'Driscoll's boys couldn't open his mouth, but he'd tell a lie. Screw it. Let's just have some fun. Geld him.
Yeah!
What's he doing? Where's he going?
Oh, don't worry. You're only balls, boy. Just gonna cause you trouble. You know, in Imperial Rome, eunuchs was among the happiest and most loyal of courtiers.
Oh, you kidding me, right?
Of course.
You sick bastard! Oh, what do you want from me?
Well, you are gonna talk. The only question is now or after we got these little fellas off.
Okay, listen. I know where O'Driscoll's holed up, and you're right. He don't like you any more than you like him. He's at 6 Point Cabin. I'll take you there. Serious. I don't like him. I mean, I like him even less than I like you. No offense.
Oh, none taken.
Okay then, partner. Why don't you take a few of us up there right now? I got this, Dutch. Should be fun. All right, you. Come on. Let's go.
Kieran Duffy tells us that Colm O'Driscoll is holed up at 6 Point Cabin and offers to take us up there. Along the way, he has some very interesting dialogue.
You see, O'Driscoll? If this is how he treats his friends, imagine what he does to his enemies.
I got an inkling of what you all do to your enemies when you put those gelding tongs to my parts. You know, you all ain't that different from the O'Driscolls.
What did you just say?
I've been watching you all these weeks, and,
You've been tied to a tree. You don't know nothing about this gang.
Yeah, well, I'd say you don't know much about the O'Driscolls. But maybe I know more about you than you know about them. And I know all about them, so...
Tell us then. How are we like those mongrel dogs?
You're outlawed like them. You're out to survive like them. You live rough. You live hard. Fighting the law, nature. You're out for yourselves.
See? This is why you're an O'Driscoll, O'Driscoll. You're out to survive. We're out to live. Free. Hey, watch it. Colm's a sneak thief and a killer. Dutch is more like a teacher.
From where I've been, you just look the same as all.
Then you looked, but you ain't seen.
John, shut that boy up.
When you cut through Dutch's philosophy bullshit, you realise that Kieran isn't actually wrong. The O'Driscolls and the Van der Linde gang are not as dissimilar as they'd like to think. Anyway, the information turns out to be partially good, as there is at least an O'Driscoll hideout at 6 Point Cabin.
Cabin's in the clearing down there. There'll be a bunch of fellers hiding out there too.
Are these fellas armed?
Armed, drunk, wary of strangers, yup.
And Colm O'Driscoll?
He'll be holed up in his cabin. Be passed out, booze blind, likely as not.
Hey, over there. Someone's coming.
So, who's gonna tell him we ain't got nothing for the pot?
Oh, let me think. The feller that spooked the game, I reckon.
I'm gonna drain it. I'll catch up.
No, we ain't gonna fall for that. We're gonna wait so you can tell him yourself.
Yeah.
If anyone's actually gonna shoot the messenger, it'd be that mean son of a bitch.
Yes, sir.
Come on, shake it off.
After a quick shootout and the death of many O'Driscolls, the Van der Linde gang discover that Colm O'Driscoll is not in fact here.
You alright?
Sure. Thank you. Colm O'Driscoll. He ain't here. You set us up. Come here!
What?
You set us up.
No, I didn't.
You did. Colm O'Driscoll ain't here!
He was here, I swear. If I was setting you up, I wouldn't have saved your life.
It's a good point, Arthur.
All right, then, go on. Get out of here.
Hey?
I won't kill you.
I didn't set you up.
Get lost.
Shit, lost.
I'm letting you run away. Now go on. Get out of here.
That's as good as killing me. Out there, without you, Colm O'Driscoll's gonna lose his mind about this.
So?
So I'm one of you now.
Give me a break. All right, then. But I'm warning you.
Oh, I know.
Come on, let's get to camp.
So you got the cash then?
What cash?
Yeah, there's usually some cash in the chimney.
I'll check it. Rest of you boys, get to camp quick.
See, Arthur? I ain't so bad.
Hey, Bill. You tell Dutch old Kieran ain't worth killing. Just yet.
Right you are.
So it appears as if Kieran Duffy isn't as bad as the Van der Linde gang thought. Not exactly the biggest fan of his former boss Colm O'Driscoll, who was happy to let the Van der Linde gang kill Colm, and when Arthur was threatened by a member of his former gang, Kieran killed him. He also tells Arthur that there is cash stashed in the 6-point cabin chimney, which turns out to be good information. Along with it is a rather neat looking shotgun. Maybe Colm didn't die this time, but this was a serious blow to his operations, and it's quite clear that he did a fair bit of heist planning in this cabin. If we head back to lovely old Valentine, we may notice something suspicious around the back of the doctor's office, which is next to the sheriff's office.
It's me. Come on, open up.
Here. Now you go keep the people safe.
Better all be there.
Yeah.
I'll be back to check on you tomorrow.
It would appear as if there is some illegal business going on in the back room, so naturally there's only one way to get to the bottom of that, and it's to rob the place.
Let me into that back room of yours right now.
Sir, please. You don't want to get involved with them, I promise you.
You make them open up, or you're a dead man.
Hey, open up. It's me. I brought some food and whiskey for you fellers.
Yeah, it's only the duck.
Don't try anything funny.
Put it on the table. I can see we're in the middle of some business here. Hey, wake the hell up! We got trouble! Get in there and get him!
Oh, God. Please, don't kill me.
I ain't gonna hurt you. Just stay out of my way and you'll be fine.
No witnesses. The O'Driscolls appear to have some form of operation going on back here, and on one of the bodies, maybe the doctor's, we can find a letter addressed to the doctor that reads as follows. Dear Doc, our mutual friend Mr. O.D. told me to tell you how happy he was that we was all friends again, and that he really hopes that the little misunderstanding is behind us. He wanted me to particularly remind you that friends don't go talking lies and nonsense about friends, but I assured him you knew that already. Anyway, me and the boys hoped you and Mrs. C were doing swell. She looked mighty pretty in that yellow dress she was wearing when you ate dinner the other night. Your pal, Donald. So it appears as if for this backroom operation to run, the O'Driscolls threatened the doctor, specifically threatened the doctor's wife, with the casual "we're always watching" message. So I guess it just goes to show that the O'Driscolls are a big gang, they're aware of it, they use that to threaten people and have no problems at all looping the innocent into their schemes. The next time the O'Driscolls appear in a main story mission is very briefly in Blessed Are the Meek, in which Micah is imprisoned with a member of the O'Driscolls in the town of Strawberry.
Yep. Hello, sir. I've come from Blackwater. I'm on the trail of a dangerous gang. Colm O'Driscoll. Heard you had some sort of incident.
We don't deal with bounty hunters around here, son.
I was just wondering if I could get a description.
Well, they weren't friends. They got in a fight, 2 men got killed. Now, one of them's an idiot, the other's some kind of dumb mix, so maybe them's your boys. You can look right enough when we hang them.
Upon escaping from his cell, Micah instantly kills the O'Driscoll by shooting him in the head. And that's kind of all the O'Driscoll involvement in this mission. Though Micah instantly runs off to massacre an entire town, which makes you think, What makes the Van der Linde gang actually better than the O'Driscolls? Because at this point, it doesn't look like much. The next main story mission we encounter the O'Driscolls in is an American pastoral scene, in which Arthur rides out into the hills to meet Micah Bell, who intends to, with Arthur's help, rob a stagecoach.
So what's the deal with this coach?
What do you mean? Comes through about this time every day, like I said, the end.
I mean, how many men, guns, riders?
Nothing serious. It'll be fine.
I heard the bank's been hiring every trigger man they can get of late. The meaner, the better.
You worry too much.
Forgive me if I ain't wholly faithful in something an O'Driscoll told you when you was half drunk in a jail cell.
He kept yapping about it, saying how they've been hitting it on the regular. That's a good lead in my book.
Damn O'Driscolls are everywhere now.
Bastards got a hold of most of Big Valley. Heard they took over some big ranch north of here.
From Micah, we learn that the O'Driscolls routinely rob the same stagecoach. Seems to be a little bit tactically negligent, but they have the numbers to not care, and as we saw in Valentine, they have no problems keeping the law on their payroll, which likely gives them leeway in this area. Either way, the implication is, robbing this stagecoach will also probably mean fighting over the score with the O'Driscolls. The robbery itself goes according to plan, however, after the fact, the O'Driscolls do indeed show up in force.
Shit! Now we're being robbed! Get across the river!
What the hell? Come on, Arthur! Get out of there! You dumb bastards!
Damn!
You okay?
I think so. Just keep your head.
They're goddamn O'Driscolls!
I can see that.
Get up from that! With me, Morgan! Hey, Morgan! Look out, Morgan! Wagon coming down the track! Get it done! Let's Look at the cowards! They're running away!
Why is it every job I do with you ends in a pile of dead bodies?
Since when did you have a problem killing O'Driscolls?
You've got a point.
The O'Driscolls intended to ambush the coach as it crossed the river and overpower it with numbers. However, when met with the resistance of Arthur and Micah, eventually they cut their losses and run away. Again, there are clear tactics to their approach, but their main strength is their numbers. The individual men of the gang are not well trained, they're expendable, and if you kill one, there will be another ready to take his place. This gang is massive, and that's judging by the fact that there are many O'Driscolls ready to ambush a stagecoach in what is, based on the fact that they've done it before, a risky robbery. Earlier in this mission we learned from Micah Bell that the O'Driscolls had taken over a massive ranch, and that is of course a reference to Hanging Dog Ranch. There's nothing actually to find here at this point besides from the guns of many an O'Driscoll, and we actually do come here in a much later main story mission, so we will swerve dealing with the O'Driscolls here and save it until then. There are plenty of other O'Driscoll encounters for us to have in the world space at this point. We can find them robbing trains, fleecing down ordinary people, lurking around town actively looking for somebody to victimize, and sometimes they're actively out here looking to attack Arthur. They know Dutch and his boys are in the area, and they're not too fond of that. The encounters don't really yield anything significant about the O'Driscolls, so it's not important that we go through every last one of them in this video, and that kind of works out, because getting them all to trigger is tough, but suffice to say, they give you plenty of opportunity to play the hero. The next time the O'Driscolls are actually encountered as a part of the main story though is during Chapter 3 in the mission Blessed Are the Peacemakers, in which Micah Bell has yet another crazy idea.
Well, you and the old man and Dutch have been running around, digging us ever deeper into shit. Old Mr. Pearson might have gone and lightened the load a little. Pearson!
you curious?
I guess.
Gentlemen.
Dutch, you tell him, fat man.
It's peace, Dutch. The O'Driscolls. I think there's a way.
What on earth are you talking about?
Get the words out properly, fat man.
I met a couple of the O'Driscoll boys on the road into town. Things were about to get ugly. But you know how I am in a fight, huh? Like a cornered tiger. Anyway, somehow it didn't, but we got to talking, and they suggested a parlay to end things. Like gentlemen.
Gentlemen. Colm O'Driscoll. Have you lost your minds?
They're always telling us, Dutch. Do what has to be done, but don't fight wars ain't worth fighting.
They want a parley? It's a trap.
Well, of course, it's probably a trap, but what do we got to lose finding out?
Get shot.
We ain't getting shot because you'll be protecting us. It's a trap, you shoot the lot of them. If it ain't a trap, that's slim chance.
I don't see the point in any of this.
It's a chance. Gotta take.
I killed Colm's brother. Long time ago. Then he killed a woman I loved dear.
As you say, it's a long time ago, Dutch.
Let's go. You and me, with Arthur protecting us, no one else.
What about me?
This ain't the time for tigers, my friend.
Mount up then, Morgan.
The O'Driscolls seem to want peace, however, as Hosea suggested, it's probably a trap. Arthur, Dutch and Micah go anyway. Dutch and Micah will meet with Colm O'Driscoll whilst Arthur finds a perch to watch from above.
You know, I've been fighting Colm for so long now, I can barely remember a time when it was different.
And you're still fighting him now. Make no mistake of that.
Here he goes, Doubting Thomas. Is there any plan you ain't sour on?
Well, maybe you're right. Just nervous. Let's not waste any more lives needlessly.
I ain't costing lives here. I'm saving them. What did you say? We had Pinkertons coming after us?
Because of Blackwater?
And Leviticus Cornwall and his private army. Then who knows when this local hillbilly thing will come to a head, And we really afford to be fighting on all these fronts. And O'Driscoll.
There is wisdom in that.
I hope so, gentlemen, but like I said, I'm nervous.
Look, you ain't even going to be the one in danger. We'll get on over there, find a nice perch for you to settle into. You got that rifle, don't you?
Yeah.
Then me and Dutch walk right in to the lion's den. With you to cover us,
Okay. Just keep calm, unless I give you a reason not to.
Oh, we'll be fine. We got you.
I will do my best.
Oh, my dear and trusted friend, with you watching over me, I would walk into hell itself.
As would I. All right, cowpoke. You're gonna peel off up ahead. We'll be meeting down on the plain. Find a spot just above us where you can keep an eye on things.
All right. However this shakes out, let's aim to meet back at the fork in the road afterwards.
We'll be there, partner.
Like that, we're 45 minutes into the video almost, and this is the first time in the game where we find ourselves face to face with Colm O'Driscoll. Sort of. Well, it's the first time he actually speaks. That we can hear anyhow.
Hello, Dutch. It's been a while.
Sure.
So, how's your gang doing? They still believing in you? Better world. Pure world. How's that coming along?
Just fine.
How's that score you stole off us?
Which one?
Oh, like that. It's like I said, this is a charismatic leader.
Lot of heat on us this time. Both of us. Whole heap of trouble. They offered me a price, Dutch, to bring you in.
Why didn't you take it?
Well, still might.
I am sorry about your brother.
Yeah, well, I never liked him much.
I liked Annabelle.
You always loved the ladies, Dutch Vanderlyn. I like that about you.
What are we doing here? Go home. Is this thing over?
And as Hosea suspected, of course, this is a trap. However, the target was Arthur. Before we shift on to that mess, however, there is some insight to be had about this interaction with Colm O'Driscoll. When Dutch apologised for killing Colm's brother, Colm admitted that he never really liked him much. This implies that Dutch has misunderstood what started their feud. And while the real reason for that isn't important, what is important is that peace was never attainable. And also the law offered Colm to turn Dutch in, meaning the O'Driscolls have far more valuable connections than Dutch and his gang could ever hope to be. And if they want his head, there is no chance that the O'Driscolls are going to back off.
Hello, sugar. You ain't dead, is you? Not yet, anyway.
No, Colum's got a sense.
Handing him over to the law, I don't know. Strange times.
They killed Seamus. Fuck the whole lot of them. With this fella Colum's right, we can draw them off.
He's escaping! Shoot him! Relax! Relax. I got him. Did I kill you?
Oh, not yet.
No, of course not. Not yet. But I will.
Finally! Put his weapons over there!
Arthur Morgan. It's good to see you.
Hello, Colm.
How's the wound?
I hardly feel it. You will.
Septic. Ain't nice. Now, tell me. Fine gun like you. Why you still running around with old Dutch? Could come right with me and make real money.
It ain't about the money, Colm.
No. It's Dutch's famous cars. You killed a whole bunch of my boys. 6-point cat.
I ain't got no clue what you're talking about.
Oh, you lie, my friend. And I thought Dutch preached truth.
Let me go, Colm, and end all this crap between you two. We all got real problems now.
The way I see it, they get him. They forget about me.
They ain't the forgetting sort. If I were you, I'd run as soon as I had the money.
I know you would. But see, we lure an angry Dutch in to rescue you. Grab all of you and hand you in. Then disappear.
So you only met with him to grab me?
Of course. He's gonna be so mad. He gonna come raging over here. And a whole lot of you. And the law will be waiting for him. Arthur. Arthur, I missed you.
Colm's massive plan is flawed. The law isn't just going to forget about the existence of his gigantic gang because they set up the downfall of another one. Even if the O'Driscolls are huge and unafraid of working directly under the noses of law enforcement in towns like Valentine, that does not mean they're safe. However, that's not the concern at the moment. The O'Driscolls have seriously wounded Arthur, and he still needs to escape.
Shut your hole. I don't want to go to Mexico. I want to go home. Home! Hold on, I'll be back in a minute. What the hell?
Arthur! Arthur?
Arthur! I told you it was a setup, Dutch. My boy, my dear boy, what? They got me. Well, I got away. Yeah, you did. Miss Grimshaw, I need help! Reverend Swanson! He's gonna set the law on us. No, of course he was!
I'm sorry, Arthur.
It is a bit late for apologies. Swanson! Mr. Morgan, you're safe now.
Oh, let's get him to bed.
You are safe now, Arthur.
Okay.
I got you. You're safe now.
That's pretty, Dutch. That's real pretty.
Miss Grimshaw, will you sit with him a while?
Of course. You'll be okay, Mr. Morgan. You're home.
I suppose a big takeaway here is even when wounded and poorly armed, the O'Driscolls are still no match for Arthur Morgan. I think this is the best point to bring the topic back to Sadie Adler, the woman who survived the O'Driscolls at the very beginning of the game. I mentioned that Sadie not dying there was perhaps the biggest mistake in the entire story made by the O'Driscoll gang, and I'll explain why. In Chapter 3, during a mission, we discovered that Sadie Adler is more than just some housewife. To cut a long story short, she and Arthur ride into town to pick up some supplies and post a letter. On the way back, they're harassed by another gang, the Lemoyne Raiders, and Sadie proves that she's not afraid of a gunfight. I mention this now because that proves to be a crucial detail of the next main story encounter we have with the O'Driscolls in the mission titled Horseman Apocalypses. But before we get there, there is another thing we need to take note of. After Jack Marston is rescued from Angelo Bronte in Saint Denis at the very beginning of Chapter 4, the Van der Linde gang throws a little bit of a party at camp, best described as celebrating the victory of retrieving Jack safely. However, after this party, Kieran Duffy disappears from camp. Did he run off back to his former O'Driscoll allies? The Van der Linde gang gave him a hard time due to his past history with the O'Driscoll gang, so it makes sense that he'd never be fully comfortable in that environment and maybe he decided to take off. But he turned on the O'Driscolls and killed one right in front of us, saying that he wouldn't be safe without the gang, so something doesn't add up. So at this point it raises the question, what happened to Kieran? This mission answers that question too.
What is that?
What the hell have they done to me? Look, there in the tree line. Everybody take cover! O'Driscoll boys are coming!
So, before we continue, it appears as if Kieran Duffy has been tortured and murdered by the O'Driscolls. It would appear as if they have decapitated him and gouged his eyes out, though the order of that happening in is not too clear. I'd imagine they'd have made it hurt Furthermore, they then sent Kieran's remains into the Van der Linde camp on horseback to send a message to signal their attack. After all, Kieran took the Van der Linde gang to the O'Driscoll camp at 6 Point Cabin, and in a strange twisted way he's done the same, leading the O'Driscolls to the Van der Linde camp at Shady Belle. But the gang has bigger problems than grieving right now, as the O'Driscoll boys are back in town, and there's no facade of a parlay this time.
They need help.
Get inside, fast! Come on, quick! Don't let anyone back through that door!
Here we see an excellent example of the O'Driscoll's primary tactic of overwhelming their enemy with force. Not through the individual skill, but through numbers.
What in God's name is going on? We're overrun!
Just keep shooting!
House ain't gonna keep us out.
Get those doors barricaded quick! Good! Now everyone, I got this. Get these windows covered quickly. John, you take the windows over there. Charles, you take the side doors there. Arthur, you take the windows in the back. Go!
Is everyone accounted for?
I think.
Hey! I said, is everyone accounted for?
I don't know. I think.
They must be desperate, Captain.
Damn, Kieran. Should never have taken that O'Driscoll in.
That's Mrs. Adler. She's still out there! Cover me.
Okay.
And this is where we find Sadie Adler reveling in killing O'Driscolls.
Sadie! Sadie! Why didn't you get inside?
And miss all this? Come on, Arthur.
Now we go back.
Sadie Adler's mind is consumed with revenge against the O'Driscolls. After all, they are the gang responsible for the death of her husband. So she ignores Arthur's instruction to return to the house, as her only purpose in life at this point, presently, is to kill O'Driscolls. To the point where she would rather face suicidal odds and the chance of death than let the O'Driscolls live. Collectively, eventually, the Van der Linde gang managed to repel the O'Driscoll attack, and the survivors retreat.
Cowards! We okay? I think so. Except for Kieran here. Poor kid. Mr. Swanson, would you take this boy and bury him someplace near, but not too near?
Of course. Charles, help me with the body.
We need to get this place cleaned up. Mr. Pearson, Miss Grimshaw.
Already taking care of it. Come on now, work.
Colm O'Driscoll.
That man can really hate.
So can I, Arthur. So can I. We need to get moving.
After the attack, this is what Arthur had to say about the late Kieran and the actions of Sadie Adler.
He saved my life, and I could not save his. Mrs. Adler fought braver than any of us. She is driven by powerful forces I scarcely understand. That's what love has done to her, I guess.
As for Colm O'Driscoll, as Arthur said, that man can really hate. The O'Driscoll attack on Shady Belle tells us a lot about how the gang operates and Colm O'Driscoll's priorities, as the O'Driscolls have no real activity anywhere near this area, and it seems like Colm sent his men in following the Van der Linde gang towards civilization, as by this point they're next to a city, which is pretty risky if you think about it for an outlaw gang of that size. What I'm trying to say is Colm had his own gang go well out of their own way just to try to get a shot at Dutch. But in true cowardly fashion, no matter how personal a hatred it is, when the fighting starts, Colm O'Driscoll himself is nowhere to be found. For a notorious gang leader, Colm is very absent. In fact, of all the 10 main story missions that involve the O'Driscolls, Colm is only ever present in 3 of them. He's very much so an antagonist granted power by the numbers he controls. He's more than comfortable sending his men to do something that he himself would not do, including risking their necks for his satisfaction in defeating his enemy. And as we know, all he cares about is numbers, therefore every individual member of his gang is expendable, so no matter how many we kill, they will be replaced. But I find it strange how there's this blood feud between Colm O'Driscoll and Dutch van der Linde, and Colm doesn't even want to deal with that personally. Maybe it's not as personal as Dutch is led to believe. But if that's the case, why take the risk of following the van der Linde gang towards civilization and more built up areas, when if they went their own way it would cause them less issues, as the gang doesn't go down without a fight and Colm is losing a lot of men. Granted, like I said, they're very expendable as they just keep coming in great numbers. And if you recall back to the conversation between Dutch and Colm in a previous mission, Colm explains why himself, the law offered him a price to bring Dutch in. In failing that, as we've seen, Colm is too foolish to recognise that he's the consolation. I know I'm filling in a lot of blanks here, but do you think the law's just going to forget about Colm's own criminal actions just because he brought in the bigger fish? No, his hubris is going to be the death of him. From here until chapter 6, the O'Driscolls kind of go dark. We don't have any missions involving them, and frankly the van der Linde gang has their own problems to deal with. However, the next encounter with the O'Driscoll gang in the main story is the mission Icarus and Friends, in which Sadie Adler asks Arthur to meet her at a bar in Saint Denis, in which she and Arthur plot to scope out Sisika Penitentiary, where John Marston is being held prisoner, with Arthur using a hot air balloon as an unorthodox method to get across to the island where the prison is. This doesn't come without complications in means of gunfire from the guards. However, on the whole it was a success. However, that's not really important. What's important is what we come back to when Arthur and the flight instructor Arturo rejoin Sadie Adler.
There's Annesburg.
Sure.
Good Lord, is that Mrs. Adler?
Where?
Being chased.
Yes. Try and get us near.
Will there be more trouble, sir?
I expect so. Hey, Sadie! Up here!
It would appear as if, whilst we were out scoping the Sisika Penitentiary to find a way to spring John from his shackles, Sadie was out indulging in her personal vendetta against the O'Driscolls, and now she's being chased by a mob of them.
Mrs. Adler has a lot to answer for.
Yes.
What a day!
What was you thinking with the O'Driscolls right now?
Wait till I tell Baldasario about this!
Just ride out the...
Oh my God!
Unfortunately for Sadie, it's not herself her recklessness gets killed.
Sadie! Grab the rope, come on! Grab the rope!
All right, hold it there, Arthur! Got it! Up, up! Let's get out of here!
I think we're gonna crash.
You have a real habit of stating the obvious, Arthur.
Hold on.
Did you break your neck?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Oh, damn it, look! There's more of them on the other side. They must have followed us. Get behind something. This ain't over yet.
Now Arthur and Sadie find themselves in the shootout with the O'Driscolls in the woods in Roanoke Ridge, or at the very least somewhere thereabouts. in a completely unnecessary fight born from the recklessness of Sadie Adler and her eagerness to get revenge for the death of her husband. And that recklessness got Arturo, an innocent flight instructor, killed. And furthermore, more skirmishes with the O'Driscoll gang was perhaps the last thing that the Van der Linde gang needed at this point, considering they're practically up shit creek, both metaphorically and literally at this point themselves. Fortunately, even in dire straits, the O'Driscolls are no match for a man with tuberculosis and, well, Sadie Adler's death wish, and so even now the O'Driscolls face defeat.
The hell is wrong with you? I only left you an hour ago. You can't stay out of trouble for one goddamn hour. You got that poor bastard killed for his troubles. I kinda liked him.
They got Colm, the government. They got Colm O'Driscoll. They're gonna hang him in Saint Denis.
Hang him? Okay.
He's already been tried twice for murder and found guilty.
Sure, no doubt he'll escape again.
No, he won't, because we're gonna make sure of it.
We have our own problems with the law in case you ain't noticed.
Dutch will want to see him swing.
Sure, Dutch. He wouldn't even help us with Marston. And our situation is really messed up right now. You know how things is.
Bastard's gonna swing. I'm gonna make sure of it.
Closely followed by Marston.
So what we learn from this conversation is Colm O'Driscoll has been arrested and is awaiting execution in Saint Denis. However, he's escaped that predicament in the past, therefore Sadie wants to see it through. Earlier on in this mission we also learn that Sadie has been actively hunting the O'Driscolls.
Oh, by the way, I've been hunting O'Driscoll boys. Killed 2 of the sons of bitches at a campsite last week.
What?
Yeah. Seems they've drifted down this way now.
You're a busy woman, Sadie Adler.
Sadie tells us that the O'Driscolls are in this area, and so the later revelation that Colm O'Driscoll is awaiting execution in Saint Denis and without intervention will surely escape again is the perfect opportunity to do away with the leadership of this gang and destabilise the O'Driscolls to the point where they're no longer an issue for the Van der Linde gang. So it makes sense that the next mission that involves the O'Driscolls is about this very concept.
There you are.
Here I am.
Come on, let's go.
Let's go where? Why are you so riled up?
Today is a great day, Arthur. Today is the day they are going to hang Colm O'Driscoll.
That's so.
Rather they hang him or I shoot him.
Oh, they are gonna hang him.
Yeah, and not before time.
That boy's been on the gallows more than most. I wouldn't count anything until his neck's broke.
Well, nor would I. Which is why, despite us being wanted men, we're gonna attend the event ourselves.
And follow him onto the scaffold?
Well, let's hope not. But if I could see that son of a bitch breathe his last, I think I'd die a happy man. We are gonna disguise ourselves.
In this?
In this.
Okay.
Come on.
Well, don't we just look the part?
We'll cut through the alley to get to the gallows. We keep our weapons holstered, our disguises on, and our wits about us.
Mrs. Adler, might I say, being a fancy woman of Saint Denis suits you.
I'd dress up like the Queen of Sheba if it meant seeing that son of a bitch swing.
Colm hung me up, nearly butchered me. That don't mean I'm comfortable in this woolen coat.
You made it out of that predicament, as I remember, Mr. Morgan. My husband weren't so lucky.
You lost your husband. I lost my darling Annabelle. That poor boy Kieran. We've all lost something because of Colm.
Now, I find this conversation to have several interesting talking points. First things first, Dutch mentions Kieran. Now, Dutch mentions Kieran as a reason to see Colm O'Driscoll hang, when in reality, I don't think there's any moment that convinces me that Dutch actually cares about this. It's just more justification for the gratification of killing this man, which is especially weird coming from the mouth of somebody who believes that revenge is a luxury you can't afford. Before this, Sadie explains why she's so convicted to see Colm die. Arthur expresses that deep down, yes, he would like to see Colm die because he nearly butchered him, but that doesn't make him comfortable with the situation. However, Sadie reminds him that he made it out of that predicament, whereas Jake Adler did not. Hence why she's so comfortable taking these risks for the sake of getting revenge.
Look here, don't the public love an execution? You see that pair of assholes?
Sure.
They're Combs boys.
Yes, I think so.
What a surprise. I'm glad we're here.
If Colm O'Driscoll's boys are in town, then there's definitely an escape plot with regards to their leader that almost certainly needs to be stopped.
What are they pointing at?
I don't know. We gotta follow them and find out.
Yeah. Oh, here comes somebody. Stay here.
Don't do nothing.
What's it look like? Bunch of cops.
How many?
Enough. So what do you think?
All's up on the roof. Once he starts shooting, we have to have our wits about us and move fast.
Yeah, I guess we faced worse than this before.
Sure. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
It would appear as if the O'Driscolls have a sniper on the roof that intends to shoot the rope or something, and so stopping that sniper will ensure that the execution goes ahead.
Ma'am, I need to get out onto the roof. You know how I can do that?
I guess you could go out on the balcony if you took the stairs up a level.
Okay. Thank you.
When we arrive there, we can find the gun case, but there's no O'Driscoll to be found.
What's this then? Gun case. Your boss is gonna swing, I promise. You're skinnier than I thought you'd be.
As long as any of us can remember, it is justice that separates us from
Well, Colm, there goes your escape plan.
justice itself can at times be barbaric. For sometimes a man is so savage, the only way to deal with him justly is by savagery. Colm O'Driscoll is one such man. He has murdered, tortured, robbed, stolen, raped, and abused for a decade across 5 states, seemingly with impunity. Today, justice catches up with him.
As well you may. I've been a bad man.
Silence!
These charges...
This is not a court where you shall be tried. This is a place where your sentence is to be carried out. And your sentence, Colm O'Driscoll, is that you are to be hanged by the neck until you are dead. This is not a task we take lightly. It is not a task we enjoy. But it is a task we must carry out if our civilization is to prosper. Gentlemen, are we ready? Colm O'Driscoll, may God, in his infinite wisdom, have mercy upon your soul. Whenever you are ready.
Now you know how it feels to watch somebody you love die. You ruined my life!
Arthur! If you can hear me, shoot somebody.
Well, there goes Sadie's vengeful rage once again. Even here at the death of Colm O'Driscoll, there are numbers. There's a lot of O'Driscolls in town who failed to save their leader. How this amount of O'Driscolls didn't have a backup plan in case something went wrong just goes to show how poorly equipped they actually were. And now without their leader, who's going to organise them? How are they going to effectively operate as a gang going forward?
Well, we got him.
Let's just get out of here.
Go.
Colm O'Driscoll is dead, and he died afraid. A satisfying end for a cowardly criminal who always had others do his dirty work for him. It's hard to imagine from here on out the O'Driscolls will be organised enough to effectively pose a threat to the Van der Linde gang, and probably have their own problems now. The biggest of which they made for themselves back at the Adler Ranch, all the way back to just before Chapter 1 in Red Dead Redemption 2's main story. Sadie Adler is coming for them all. I said I'd touch down on this later in the video, and the best time to bring that up is now with Dutch, because this is the moment where he washes his hands of his O'Driscoll's problem. He's seen Colm die, he's happy. At the very start of the game, he refers to the O'Driscolls as animals for making Sadie Adler a widow. But over the course of the main story, and definitely by the point we see Colm O'Driscoll swing, it's very clear to us that Dutch and his gang are just as much responsible for the very same level of atrocity. The Van der Linde gang has killed countless people, sometimes innocent, sometimes not, making widows galore along the way, I don't doubt it. Even in recounting events before the main story, we come to learn that Dutch is not above cold-blooded murder, and the main story scrapes off any facade of honour or greater purpose to the point where the only actual difference between the Van der Linde gang and Colm O'Driscoll's boys is the perspective. Both gangs are feared and kill people. They're all criminals. Even Dutch and Colm dress similar, albeit different colours. The only actual difference besides that is numbers. Colm's only ever cared about numbers. However, when Micah introduces two of his friends to the gang, Dutch doesn't even question it, nor does he especially care to know them. He even leaves Arthur to die at one point, which goes to show that Dutch doesn't care about anybody but himself towards the end, as was the case for Colm. Who did he care for, really? Colm O'Driscoll's hubris was his death. Dutch is an egomaniac, and he refuses to listen to the advice of even his most trusted friends. And especially later on in the game, that arrogance leads the Van der Linde gang ever deeper into shit. With a touch of liberty here and there, the O'Driscoll boys are an exaggerated version of the Van der Linde gang. They're no worse or better realistically, granted they don't have that tight-knit feel the Van der Linde gang does as far as we can tell, but that's really it. We don't have their perspective. We have the Van der Linde gang's perspective, and where it counts, that's where the real differences come down to. Kieran Duffy even warned us about this as early as Chapter 2, when he said that from what he's seen, the Van der Linde gang and the O'Driscolls look the same, and he would know better than anybody else, as he's been a part of both. Back to where we're up to in the main story. At this point, with Colm O'Driscoll dead, the last of the O'Driscoll gang are now holed up at Hanging Dog Ranch, the ranch Micah referenced in Chapter 2 as being overrun with them. And in order to see them off for good, Sadie Adler, back at Beaver Hollow, asks for Arthur's help.
Still working?
Is anybody still working? The whole goddamn place full of people bickering, fighting, and lying. It makes me real sad.
I know. I need someone to ride with me.
Do what?
Finish off them O'Driscolls. I hear the last of them is holed up at Hanging Dog Ranch.
I don't have it in me no more. I saw Colm swing. I just don't care.
I was a married woman. You know what they did to me. And to my husband? You're the only one of these fools that I trust. I've got to do this.
I'll tell you what, I'll do it. But there's something you can help me with.
Okay. I'm with you.
Well, then you got yourself a gun. What's left of one.
Thank you, Arthur.
If you agree to help Sadie, Sadie and Arthur will ride out to Hanging Dog Ranch in West Elizabeth to ensure that all that remains of the O'Driscolls is history.
Fine morning for a killing.
Hey.
You seen anything down there?
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of them down there. I'm mostly drunk. But one of them is a fat fella with a beard. Him? He's mine.
Okay.
It's a big ranch. Run down. Lots of folk there. But spread pretty thin. I'll set it off and then we'll take it from there.
Take it from there. Okay. So, no real plan then.
Oh, I got a plan. Now come on.
Jesus! hell is that lady?
Hey, that's the lady from the hanging.
Come! Let's finish this! Faster! Damn it!
Stay with Vanderland!
Over here!
Oh, Driscolls don't leave no witnesses! You hear me? You died with O'Driscoll! Get out of here!
There's a sharpshooter in the hayloft! We gotta try to get around him!
Christ!
Okay, he's dead!
I don't care what she is, shoot her! You're dead!
It's over now.
Okay, you take the barn, I'll take the farmhouse. And remember, if he's fat and he's got a beard, he's mine.
I'll try. Who's in here? Come on. The lady outside don't want none of you coming out of here.
Look out! He's in here! Look around! You're gonna die, you yellow-bellied bastard! I've been waiting for you!
With all the O'Driscolls here dead, it's time to rejoin Sadie.
Going into the farmhouse!
Sadie, you in here?
Piece of shit!
You okay?
Yeah. He was a good man, my Jakey. We was always sweet on one another.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I miss him every day, every moment. They turned me into a monster, Arthur. But my memories of him, they still pure.
I ain't even got that.
You know, you're a confusing man, but you might just be the best friend I got, Arthur.
I know the company you keep. The competition ain't too fierce. We should get away from her.
I think I need to be alone for a bit.
I understand. You, might want to get yourself cleaned up.
Thank you, Arthur.
It's heavily implied that after this point, the O'Driscolls have been vanquished. By 1907 in the epilogue, the O'Driscolls are completely gone, though Hanging Dog Ranch becomes something of a home for another gang known as the Laramie Boys. But at least the O'Driscolls' reign of terror is now a thing of the past. The wild, hot-headed, impulsive ways of the outlaw legend Colm O'Driscoll eventually saw the demise of his gang. And who does that remind you of? Bringing us to the end of this behemoth of a video. Thank you all for watching. I really hope that you've enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff. That would be super fantastic, of course. And maybe check out the other videos I've done in this The Gangs of Red Dead Redemption 2 playlist, or the other videos I've done in the entire Red Dead Redemption 2 Easter Eggs, Mystery, Secrets and Lore playlist, which this video will be a part of both. And with any luck, hopefully I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video at some point. But until next time, take care and goodbye.